Hi, this is Keith McKendall, Governor with the Alabama District of Kiwanis, and we're here today introducing the Challenge School Project. Today we have Dr. Christy Sayers and Dr. Dale Elliott.
When I first joined the Kiwanis Club in Indian Springs, I had the great good fortune to have Dr. Christy Sayers as the principal of our Oak Mountain High School. She was able to actually select for us and advise us on two very important projects that we initiated at the high school here. Now I'm very fortunate to have Christy not as the principal of the high school, but as a lieutenant governor in Kiwanis and as the co-chair of the Challenge School Project here.
And I can say when Dale and the Kiwanis group, the local Kiwanis group, first approached me as principal, I'll be honest, I was a little leery to start with, because most often when people come into a principal's office, it's what they want the principal to do. And Dale came with an authentic request. He said, what can we do to help the students in Oak Mountain High School? That absolutely really changed the culture of our relationship as a community, because I was really, I was impressed with his authenticity. I was impressed with his servant leadership and the entire servant leadership of the entire Kiwanian group. And what we were able to do was absolutely incredible. And I know that Dale is going to give you some examples of what the local Kiwanis group did. But what I want to encourage you to do is to really reach out to those principals, to those school leaders, because most often they are eager for help and they really want your support.
There are many kinds of projects that Kiwanis can undertake to support the schools. Some of them do require personal involvement and a time commitment. Some of these projects, even though no financial commitment is needed, can be some of the most effective and rewarding. Examples of that would be an advisor or a sponsor of a key club. Another example would be a mentoring program. Many of these young people do not have a positive role model that can guide them. And what we did was we had 14 people in our club that had different career paths, and they all volunteered to be mentors and submitted a curriculum vitae or biography, and we made a packet and turned it over to the guidance counselor at the high school and agreed to mentor students or give talks to groups that are interested in certain career paths. Another rather unusual type of project, really not a project, we were called by the Oak Mountain Elementary School, and they were having Grandparents' Day, and they said that some of the young kids would get upset because they didn't have grandparents. And so we went down and volunteered to be grandparents, and I was taken to the room with this very, very sweet second grade Hispanic girl who was distraught the fact that she didn't have a grandfather. When I walked in the room, she ran to me, calling me grandpapa, grabbed me around the knees and hugged me, and I spent the next hour or so being introduced to her teacher and to her classmates as her grandfather, and reviewing all her classwork. I think of everything I've ever done in Kiwanis, I think that was probably one of the most heartwarming things I've ever done. Another type of project that does require some financial commitment, but not a great deal. Sponsor a key club leader to go to the district meetings. It's a very small investment, but that way you can get them more involved with the club and deepen their involvement. We also have thought about, in our club, awarding some scholarships. to outstanding Key Club scholars. I recently had a conversation with another lieutenant governor who said that his club had done exactly that, but he told me to be very careful and make sure that the students who got the scholarship were selected by the principal and faculty and not club members, because that could lead some problems. The biggest project we've ever done, and did require significant financial means. Dr. Sayers had told us that there were 230 students out of about 1,600 that did not have Chromebooks at the high school. What that meant was that during the daytime in class, they had to share the Chromebooks, but at night they were not allowed to take them home. And these were students from families where there was no computer at home, and they had no way to do homework and prepare for tests. And they were obviously at a great disadvantage and pretty much at the bottom of the class. I think this was the kind of project we were really looking for, because it's something that touches people's hearts. And what I did was I wrote a letter to the community and published it in our local newsletter, and basically pointed out that students now don't have textbooks. They have to use the Chromebook. And I said, many of us, like me, came from humble backgrounds and were the first in their family to go to college. And I said, think of how different your life would have been if you had gone to a school where, if you were from a poor family, you couldn't take textbooks home. Things would have been very different. The response from the community was absolutely overwhelming. I don't think I called on a single person or a single business that turned me down. We had all the donations made out to the Alabama Kiwanis Foundation so that the people would get a tax deduction. And I do remember, in particular, I went to a local Mexican restaurant, and a great many of these kids were Hispanic. And I told her what we were raising money for, and she got tears in her eyes and whipped out her checkbook and wrote a very generous check. It was a wonderful experience. We were able to raise enough money so, with a matching gift or a matching grant from the Alabama Kiwanis Foundation, we raised $75,000 and bought 275 Chromebooks. So we took care of the high school's needs and were able to help some of the other schools as well. We felt like this was providential, since shortly thereafter COVID came along, and without those Chromebooks, remote learning would have been an impossibility.
And I think one thing that I can add to the Chromebook project is what these little projects do is actually propel into larger projects, because once our school had enough Chromebooks for everyone, then actually our county district leaders decided that it was important for every school to have that. So I think really the big thing, the big takeaway from our talking here today and our working as Kiwanians is that the smallest efforts can really become community events, and that's what we want. Dale mentioned the fact that the local Kiwanians were role models to students, but really they're also role models to our community leaders. Because if we all get behind our schools, whether they're struggling schools in your area or not, there are needs in these schools. So really, we're here today to ask you to get involved with the schools, to see what you can do, just to reach out and ask if they need help. And I think you'll be surprised in what you find.
During COVID, the membership of all the Kiwanis clubs declined significantly, and there's a pressing need for recruitment. Getting out and getting involved with your local schools and in these projects, you will be working with PTA members, and we have a pressing need to build our younger membership. there's no better way to recruit than this. It shines a light on lets the community know what Kiwanis does and all the good works that we try to do. And during our Chromebook project, we grew, our club grew from 12 members to 36. We tripled our membership in 1 year. And I think having a worthwhile project that everybody in the community knew about helped us grow. And I think if you get involved with these school projects, you will have the same result.
So with that, we want to thank Dr. Christy Sayers as well as Dr. Dale Elliott once again for their participation. But again, the ask is that there's no project too big or there's no project too small. It's changing communities one child at a time.